You're paying $47 a month for a gym membership you haven't used in 8 months. That's $376 gone. You know you should cancel it. You've thought about canceling it at least a dozen times. But every time you open the app to hit that button, something stops you. Maybe next month you'll start going again. Maybe this is the month you finally get back in shape. So you keep it. Another month. Another $47. Meanwhile, you spent 20 minutes last week comparing prices to save $3 on laundry detergent. You're not irrational. You're not careless. You're stuck. And what's costing you isn't the gym membership. It's the inability to admit you're never going back. It's not just the gym. It's the streaming service you signed up for to watch one show. The show ended 6 months ago. You still pay $14.99 every month because what if something good comes out? It's the premium software subscription you needed for a project last year. The project is done, but you keep paying $29 a month because you might need it again. You probably won't, but maybe. It's the car you bought 3 years ago that spends more time in the shop than on the road. The repair bills are adding up. They've already exceeded the car's value. Your mechanic keeps saying it's time to let it go. But you've put so much money into it already. If you sell it now, all those repairs were for nothing. So you fix it again and again, throwing good money after bad because walking away feels like admitting defeat. It's the jacket you bought on sale for $180. You wore it twice. It doesn't fit right. Every time you see it hanging in your closet, you feel guilty. But you can't donate it or sell it because that would mean accepting you wasted $180. So it hangs there, taking up space, reminding you of a mistake you won't release. The jacket isn't costing you money anymore, but your inability to let it go is costing you something else. Peace. Clarity. The ability to move forward. If this sounds familiar, it's not because you're stubborn or foolish. It's because you're human. And humans have a deeply irrational relationship with things they've already invested in. We can't let go because letting go means admitting we were wrong. And admitting we were wrong feels like losing twice. What's happening here is something economists call the sunk cost fallacy. Once you've invested time, money, or effort into something, you feel compelled to continue investing, even when it makes no logical sense, because you don't want the original investment to be wasted. Your brain treats past costs as a reason to keep going instead of what they actually are. Gone, irrelevant, unrecoverable. The gym membership you paid for 8 months ago is gone whether you cancel today or keep paying for another year. The $376 is already spent. But your brain doesn't process it that way. Your brain says, if I cancel now, that $376 was wasted. If I keep the membership, maybe it wasn't wasted. Maybe I'll use it. Maybe I'll justify it retroactively. So you keep paying. Not because the membership is valuable, because admitting it was never valuable feels unbearable. Here's the cruelty of it. The longer you hold on, the worse it gets. That car you keep repairing? Every new repair makes it harder to sell because now you've invested even more. That subscription you won't cancel? Every month makes the total waste bigger, which makes the idea of canceling more painful. You're not protecting your original investment. You're multiplying your losses while telling yourself you're being responsible. The rational choice is obvious. Cut the loss. Cancel the membership. Sell the car. Donate the jacket. But rationality doesn't work here because this isn't about money. It's about identity. About not being the person who wasted $376. About not being wrong. And your brain will pay hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars to avoid feeling wrong. And if nothing changes, you'll carry these dead weights for years. You'll pay for things you don't use, keep things you don't need, repair things that should have been replaced long ago, not because they're valuable, Because admitting they're not valuable means admitting you made a mistake. And mistakes, your brain has decided, are more expensive than the actual cost of holding on. Here's the shift. The money is already gone. Whether you let go today or in 2 years doesn't change what you spent. It only changes what you'll spend next. You're not protecting your investment by holding on. You're protecting your ego. And your ego is expensive. It's costing you more than the original mistake ever did. The question isn't whether the investment was worth it. The question is whether continuing to pay for something that isn't serving you is worth avoiding the discomfort of being wrong. The solution isn't developing more discipline or doing better research before buying things. Those help, but they don't address the core problem: your inability to accept sunk costs. What actually helps is learning to separate past decisions from current reality. First principle: future value over past cost. The only question that matters is, does this serve me going forward? Not, have I already invested in it? Not, will I look foolish if I quit? Just, knowing what I know now, is this worth continuing? If the answer is no, the decision is made. The gym membership doesn't serve you. Cancel it. The car costs more to maintain than it's worth. Sell it. The jacket doesn't fit. Donate it. The past investment is irrelevant. The only thing that matters is whether it adds value moving forward. This sounds simple. It's not. Because your brain will scream that you're wasting what you've already spent. But here's the truth. You've already wasted it. Keeping the thing doesn't unwaste it. It just adds new waste on top of old waste. The $376 in gym fees is gone. Paying another $376 doesn't make the first $376 less wasted. It makes the total waste $752. Second principle: the 5-minute rule. If you wouldn't buy it again today at the same price, let it go. Imagine you don't have the gym membership. Would you sign up today for $47 a month knowing you won't go? No. Then cancel it. Imagine you don't own the car. Would you buy it today knowing the repair costs? No. Then sell it. This removes the emotional weight of past decisions. You're not admitting failure. You're making a new choice based on current reality. Third principle: reframe the loss. You didn't waste $376 on a gym membership you didn't use. You spent $376 learning that you don't actually want to go to the gym. That's not waste. That's information. Expensive information, but information nonetheless. The jacket that doesn't fit? That's not a $180 mistake. That's $180 spent learning that you need to try things on more carefully. The cost isn't the problem. Refusing to learn from it is. Once you reframe the loss as tuition, letting go becomes easier. You're not admitting defeat. You're graduating. Here's why this works where logic fails. Sunk costs trigger something psychologists call loss aversion. Your brain feels the pain of loss twice as intensely as the pleasure of gain. So, losing $376 by canceling the gym membership feels much worse than the neutral act of gaining nothing by keeping it. Even though keeping it means losing more money, your brain isn't weighing future costs. It's avoiding present pain. But here's what your brain doesn't see. Holding on is also a loss. It's just a quieter one. You're losing money every month. You're losing mental space every time you see the jacket. You're losing freedom every time you have to schedule another car repair. These losses are real, but they're gradual, so your brain doesn't sound the alarm. The alarm only goes off when you actively choose to let go. That's when loss feels loud. The reframe works because it shifts the lens. You're not losing the investment by letting go. You already lost it. Letting go just stops you from losing more. It's not about cutting your losses. It's about refusing to multiply them. And once you see it that way, the choice becomes obvious. The pain of admitting you were wrong is temporary. The pain of continuing to pay for being wrong is permanent. This requires one honest afternoon. You sit down and list everything you're holding on to that's costing you. Subscriptions you don't use, memberships you don't need, items you don't wear, projects you won't finish. Be ruthless, not judgmental, just honest. Then ask the only question that matters. Does this serve me now? Not, did I think it would serve me when I bought it? Not, might it serve me someday? Now. If the answer is no, let it go. Cancel the subscription, sell the item, donate the thing. And here's the hardest part. Don't justify it. Don't spend energy explaining why you're keeping the one exception. If it doesn't serve you now, it goes. That afternoon will feel terrible. You'll confront a dozen small failures, a dozen optimistic purchases that didn't pan out, a dozen versions of yourself who thought they'd be different. But that discomfort is finite. It ends when the afternoon ends. The discomfort of holding on never ends. It just compounds quietly until you drown in things you can't release. In The Psychology of Money, Morgan Housel writes about how the hardest financial skill is getting the goalpost to stop moving. But there's another hard skill he touches on: knowing when to quit. He talks about how we're taught that quitting is failure, that persistence is virtue. But in finance, knowing when to cut your losses is the difference between small mistakes and catastrophic ones. The investor who holds a losing stock because selling means admitting they were wrong doesn't just lose the original investment. They lose the opportunity to invest that money somewhere better. Your gym membership works the same way. The $47 you spend each month isn't just wasted on a service you don't use. It's $47 you can't spend on something that would actually improve your life. The sunk cost fallacy doesn't just cost you the thing you're holding on to. It costs you everything else you could have had instead. And Housel's point is this: the ability to let go isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's the recognition that past decisions don't obligate future ones, that the best time to quit something that isn't working is right now. Not after you've justified it, not after you've gotten your money's worth. Now. You don't have a money problem. You have an ego problem. And your ego is charging you a monthly subscription fee. Every dollar you spend on things you don't use is a dollar spent avoiding the truth. You were wrong. You picked wrong. You bet wrong. And being wrong feels unbearable. So you keep paying. Not for the gym, not for the car, not for the jacket. You're paying for the illusion that you weren't wrong, that it'll work out eventually, that the investment will justify itself if you just hold on long enough. It won't. The only thing waiting for you at the end of holding on is a bigger bill and the same uncomfortable truth you're avoiding now. So maybe the question isn't why you can't let go of things that are costing you money. Maybe it's what you're really holding on to. Because it's not the gym membership, it's not the broken car or the jacket that doesn't fit. It's the version of yourself who made that choice. The person who thought they'd use it. The person who believed it was worth it. And letting go of the thing means letting go of that version of you, which means accepting that who you thought you'd be and who you actually are aren't the same. The cost of holding on is measurable. The cost of letting go is just discomfort. And discomfort, unlike monthly fees, eventually ends. If this hit home, consider subscribing. I explore the psychology behind your money choices every week, the patterns you can't see but can't escape.